Hey guys, it's Dragon Shark Eyes here. Haven't uploaded the deck video for a while, so I thought I'd start again, and I'm going to start with my Dark World deck, which I recently rebuilt. Okay, so we start off with 3 Gryphers, Dragon Lord of Dark World. This guy is the key card of the deck. His special ability is when you discard him, you can target one card in the field, one card your opponent controls, and then destroy it. He also has the effect where if you've got a Dark World in the field, you return the Dark World to your hand, and you special summon him from the graveyard. Okay. We've got 3 Snows on Lights of Dark World. This card came in the Dark World structure deck along with Grypher. Its special effect is if it's discarded by a card effect, you search your deck for a Dark World card and add it to your hand. So it's a really key card for searching out any Dark World card. 2 golds. I did have silver in here, but I've changed it around only because this guy's slightly better. So when he's discarded by a card effect, if it's an opponent's card effect, you destroy 2 cards they control. But either way, if he's discarded, you can special summon him from the graveyard, so he's very good. I use him for rank 5 Xyz. Okay, 3 Browse, Huntsman of Dark World. If he's discarded, you draw an extra card. He's very useful for the field spell card. So if you discard the field spell card is if you banish a monster, you discard a fiend and you draw a card. If you discard him, you draw an extra card. He's also a very good target for Tour Guide. 2 Beige, Vanguard of Dark World. He's just useful for the fact that if he's discarded by a card effect, you special summon him. So he's very useful for things like Grypher, so you can just discard it. You discard him, special summon him, get Grypher back from the graveyard, and then you could try and special summon him again. Where would the Dark deck be without Dark Armed Dragon? So he can only be special summoned by having 3 Dark monsters in your graveyard. And if you banish a Dark monster, you target one card in the field and destroy it. So the only downside I've actually ever had of this is having too many Dark Worlds in the graveyard. Trance Archfiend. I was quite lucky to chance upon this. His special effect is if you discard a Fiend type monster, he gains 500 attack. And if he's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your banished Dark monsters and add it to your hand. He's very, very useful with Dark World cards because they all get their effects by being discarded. So 2 Tour Guides, really easy to get hold of, especially since the Battle Pack and the Tins. Of course, very useful for getting rank 3s Xyz out. Morphing Jar. So Morphing Jar is very useful for the fact that when he's flipped, you discard your entire hand. So because the Dark Worlds get their cards, they get their effects from being discarded. He's very, very useful. Battle Fader, just to add a bit of defense. Gauze. Sometimes you might find yourself in that situation. Gauze, very useful to get out, and he's a fiend, so he gets the power up bonus from the field spell. Dark Resonator, just he's if he would be destroyed by battle once per turn, he's not. He's also a tuner, so very useful. Speaking of useful tuners, we've got 2 Fabled Ravens. This card is very useful for the fact that you can discard any number of cards you want. And this is level and the attack go up for each card. Very useful for Dark World, so if you've got loads of Dark World in your hand, get him on the field, just get them all going off the effects. He'd also be very useful for Xyz because you can just change his level. Right, so that's the monsters. Onto the spells. We got terraforming. So sometimes, you can use snow to find the field spell you want, but terraforming's just there for when you don't have snow. So we got 3 Gates of Darkworld. The field spell is very, very useful. Not only does it make your monsters gain 300 attack and defense, but it's an extra effect. You want that effect. So you banish the fiend type, and you discard a fiend type, and then draw a card. So you need to have a fiend type in the graveyard, but you discard the fiend type, so you can always get your Dark World effects off, and you get an extra card for doing it. 2 Dark World dealings. So this is a bit of a double-edged sword. So you draw a card. Each player draws a card, and then they discard the card. So you'll get your Dark World effect off, but you might help your opponent out a bit as well. Dark World Lightning. Very useful for getting rid of face-down cards. The only downside is if your opponent, if you say you target a trap card, and your opponent activates it, you won't get your discard effect, but you can target your own cards. Allure of Darkness. I've seen a lot of people have problems with this. It won't be so much of a problem in this deck because you more than likely always have a dark card in your hand, so you can just use that. Card Destruction. That's in there for the same reason why Morphing Jar is. You sometimes you just want to get all your effects off. There we go. Now for some staples. So we got Dark Hole, 2 MSTs, Monster Reborn, Heavy Storm. Okay guys, so now for the traps. We've got 2 Fines. So what this does is you literally just discard 2 cards. So it's just to get the Dark World effects off. So it's it's useful for that. And finally, Deck Devastation Virus. This actually came in the Dark World Structure deck. What it does is you tribute to Dark Monster 2000 or more attack. Much easier with the field spell on the field. You check your opponent's hand, all monsters to control, and all cards are drawn until the 3rd turn after it's activated, and destroy all monsters 1500 or less. Really good against cards or really good against decks that focus on monsters with low attack but awesome effects. Okay guys, moving on to the extra deck. So we've got number 17, number 20, Wind Up Zen Mains, Maelstrom, because it's a fiend, and it's got an awesome effect. I usually run with more or less the same extra deck. There's a few minor changes. Utopia, extra defense. Palipo, just good against if you're against the deck, you can just switch the monster attack. It loses 600 attack, and you can attack it. Steel Swarm Merge, very useful against high attack monsters, and it's a fiend, so it'll get powered up as well. Darius, good for destruction, and it's a fiend as well. Tiras, very useful. Catasta, again, good against decks that aren't dark. So if you're facing things like, I don't know, the Mermails are all water, so if they attack Catasta or you attack with Catasta, no more monster. Gaia Knight, just good level 6 synchro. Chaos King Archfiend, very useful synchro. When he declares an attack, you switch the attack and defense of all monsters your opponent controls until the end phase. So it means that if you're against, say your opponent's got a high attack monster, but it's got really low defense, use Chaos King. Dark End Dragon, very useful for the fact that for once per turn, he can lose 500 attack and defense, and you send a card to the graveyard, so it doesn't destroy it, it just sends them. So any monster that says, if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you're not destroying it, you're just sending it. Scrap Dragon, because why not? Yep. And finally, Stardust. Okay, I've also got a side deck for this, guys. So I've got 2 Torrential Tributes. Solemn Warning, down to 1 now because of the Forbidden List. Solemn Judgment. Necro Gardener, for obvious reasons. Mirror Force. Imperial Iron Wall, because the last thing you want is Gryphon to be removed from play. So you're against the macro deck, you want that in. You want to slide that in. Fiendish Chain, good against those tricky effects. Dark Smog, particularly useful in the Dark World deck, because you target a monster, your opponent's graveyard, discard it, and banish. You banish the target, and you special summon the Fiend. You discard the Fiend, but with Dark World you'll special summon them. So this card's got gold in the background, so gold might be a very good target. Dark Lord Zerato, very useful. If there are 4 more Dark Monsters with different names in your graveyard, you tribute summon it by tributing 1 Dark Monster. Send 1 Dark Monster from your hand to the graveyard, destroy all cards your opponent controls. The only downside is, if you activate it, it destroys itself. 2 DD Crows. So if you discard it, you remove from play 1 card in your opponent's graveyard. And finally, 2 compulsory evacuation devices. Okay, guys. So that's it. I'm planning on uploading at some point my Dino Rabbit deck, which I've had to modify. I'm not completely sussed on it, but I'll upload it and see what you guys think. I'm also planning to build at some point a Fire King deck and a Hazy Flame deck. So that's it. So please comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll catch you later, guys.